let's talk about autism in the Umbrella Academy. There are going to be spoilers, just so you know. Harlan is a young boy who is non-speaking and autistic. He first appears in the first episode of Season 2. They very much focus on how he's perceived as a burden to his parents, primarily his father. Vanya is the only one who doesn't seem to think of him as a burden, which makes me think that they might be trying to hint that Vanya is autistic, too. She gets along with Harlan very well. In the second episode, we see Harlan have a meltdown because his mom can't read him a bedtime story because she has to go pick up her husband. He communicates what he wants by bringing the book to her and humming, which seems accurate, as that is one of the ways I communicate non-verbally. Vanya grabs Harlan by the arms when he starts having a meltdown, which makes me very uncomfortable. But then Vanya offers to get his father instead, so his mom could read to him. This is an example of an accommodation. In the third episode, we see Harlan stimming with a wooden bird next to a record player, along to the song. Then the record starts skipping. Harlan tries to fix it, changes it to another song, and starts hitting his head. He begins having a big meltdown. His mother restrains him, and he bites her. This is where my problems with this portrayal really come up. As far as I can tell, the actor who plays Harlan isn't autistic. It feels hugely upsetting to me that a non-autistic boy is imitating an autistic meltdown. It feels hugely mocking. And restraint is very dangerous during autistic meltdowns. Autistic people have died from being restrained improperly, and the person restraining them is much more likely to get hurt than if they weren't restraining them. The next scene I want to look at is the one where Harlan almost drowns. It's in episode 4. Harlan's mom and Vanya are talking about Vanya leaving. Harlan's mom suggests going with Vanya, supposedly without Harlan. Harlan hears this and starts to run. They follow him. Vanya takes the path Harlan went down. She hears him fall into the water. She sees his toy bird in the water. She then uses her power to move all of the water out of the way so she can get to Harlan. She does CPR on him, and when she does the breath, some of her power helps Harlan start breathing again. His mom then comes and hugs him. So here are my thoughts on this scene. I think the fact that he yelled is accurate and understandable. But I think they missed a key part that I only notice because I'm autistic. The bird. Vanya is understandably distracted by trying to save Harlan, but she seemingly doesn't even think about the bird. They don't address the bird at all in this scene, and he somehow has it later. That feels like a huge missed opportunity for me. If I had just almost drowned and I didn't have my comfort item, I would immediately start panicking. I think it would have shown more understanding of how Harlan thinks on Vanya's part if she had grabbed the bird and then lifted the water up with her power. Obviously that wouldn't be doable in a real-life scenario, because you'd need every second to save the person drowning, but cinematically, it just doesn't feel realistic that Vanya, who seems to understand Harlan, doesn't think to grab the bird, and that Harlan, now without his comfort object, doesn't acknowledge it being lost, possibly for good. Harlan's father often talks in front of Harlan like Harlan isn't there. In the next scene, he starts being romantic with his wife in front of Harlan, which Harlan's mom doesn't like. This frustrates Vanya, and so does the buzzing from the game Harlan is playing. Vanya accidentally breaks the window with her power. Harlan puts his hand on hers. Because he understands. Harlan's father threatens to send Harlan away to an institution. Vanya talks about this right in front of Harlan. Harlan, Vanya, and Harlan's mom all try to leave in the car. They get stopped by police because Harlan's mom left a note. Vanya gets taken to the FBI. Vanya is tortured. Harlan reacts to this because he is connected to Vanya through her powers. He says her name. This bothers me for a number of reasons. First, I don't like the magical he spoke vibes it gives me. Also, he has perfectly clear speech. I can't speak for anyone else, but when I go nonverbal, even for a day, I struggle to speak clearly afterwards. It doesn't make any sense that he would be able to speak that clearly if he never spoke before and rarely makes noises that aren't grunt or moaning or humming sounds. Harlan's father then takes Harlan to take him to an institution. This is set in the 50s or 60s. Institutions at that time were horrible places. Harlan's mom is very upset about this. His mom gets her gun and stands in front of the car to stop her husband. Harlan's mom and dad start arguing. He wakes up and is listening. At one point, his dad says to his mom, "I never blamed you for the boy." Obviously a horrible thing to say in front of your child. Harlan gets out of the car. His father takes the gun from his mom, and it goes off. The bullet goes straight at Harlan, but the power from Vanya makes it ricochet back to his father, and it kills him. In the very last scene, we see Harlan making his toy bird hover. So, here are my general thoughts on this. It was both good and bad representation at the same time. The depiction of autism was accurate. It was hard to watch a lot of it because they treat him so badly, but that may just be a comment on the time period and on the character of his dad. I'm very uncomfortable with the fact that the actor is not autistic. It makes a lot of the scenes feel mocking. I don't think that the actor was trying to be mocking. But it still felt wrong and upsetting, and I wish the casting was different. They didn't play into the train or puzzle stereotype, which I liked, and I like that his special interest seems to be birds. I didn't like that it seemed more focused on his mom than him, because it sort of features his autism as a burden, and that's a really harmful message. If you like the videos I make, please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the bell thing. I make videos whenever I get a chance about autism, being situationally nonverbal, and using AAC. If you have any questions or anything to say, feel free to comment. I love getting comments. If you have any video suggestions or topics you want me to discuss, please let me know.